Hey everyone, welcome to Curiosity. Let's solve question 197, rising temperature. The question asks us to write a SQL query to find IDs of all dates with a higher temperature compared to the previous date. We can return the result in any order. Let's look at the example provided to understand this question a little better. So we have the input weather table with three columns: ID, record date, and temperature. So we observe that the temperature on date 2015 1-02 is higher than the temperature on the first. We also observe that the temperature on 4th is higher than the temperature on 3rd. And this is essentially what the question is asking us to return. We need to return 2 and 4 since they are the IDs of all dates where the temperature is higher than the previous date. So let's jump right into the query and I'll explain the approach as we write the query. So I'm going to start off with saying select star, using star as a placeholder from the weather table. And since we need to compare the two consecutive dates, there are different ways to go about this question. You can use the lead function or the lag function. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to join the weather table on itself. And this will help us to compare record dates between the two tables and the temperature between the two tables that I've joined. So I'm going to say from weather W1, join it with weather W2, and where the condition is the date. I'm going to say the date dot record date minus W2 dot record date. So the difference between W1 dot record date and W2 dot record date has to be 1. So this is our first condition. So let me just run this query to see what we get. So as we observe from the output, we see that the difference between the record, so this is the first table. So this is W1 and this is W2. And we observe that the difference between W1 dot record date and W2 dot record date is 1. So this part is going to help us solve the part of the question which is asking us to compare the current date with the previous date. Now all we need to do is we need to compare the temperature from W1 and W2, and we want only the IDs where temperature W1 is higher than temperature W2. So what we're going to do is you're going to use the AND condition. W1 dot temperature is greater than W2 dot temperature. And since we want only the ID column, I'm going to say W1 dot ID. So let's go ahead and run this query. Seems like there's an error. Sorry, there's a spelling mistake here, I feel. Yep. Let's go ahead and run it again. Okay, great. The test case is passed. I'm going to go ahead and submit the query. So the query should pass all the test cases. And the real challenge with this question is to understand to use the DATEDIFF function, where you're going to do first date minus the second date, and we want to find this should be equal to 1 since we are looking at the two consecutive dates. So thank you everyone.